Today we're moving a bunch of tires around, and that includes removing these tires from those wheels, and we're going to do it using those tools. If you want to see how it's done, stick around. I'm JC Smith. I'll show you how I do it. So if you've never done this before, I'm going to bring you along as I do this. Maybe you can pick up some tips. This isn't a how-to, this is just how I do it. So the first thing you do is I take off the cap, the valve stem, put it aside because commercial trucks have to have that. Next thing we're going to do is use this tool to remove that needle valve in the center. And you'll see that tool as a U cut into it, and that corresponds with the needle valve down inside that stem. So you just put that on there, and as you start to take it out, you start to back that out, you're going to hear the air start leaking, and you'll get to a point where it's best, if you want to keep that needle valve, get your fingers up there and grab a hold of that thing, and I hang on to it because it'll blow away and it'll be gone forever because I'll never find it. So while that is, all the air is being let out of the tire, the next thing we want to do is go around and take off all the wheel weights. So this tool you can get on Amazon for like $6. It's not very much money. You can also get one of these tools if you want, or use a pry bar. This tool on most rims will grab a hold of weight and it'll pop it off. But as you can see here, it's going to hit our rim here. So I just take a pry bar, get underneath it, and pop it off. The importance of getting the weights off everywhere, front and back of the tire, is twofold. We want it off there so it doesn't hinder getting the tire up and getting the bead stuck, and two, it's very common for the bead to get stuck on here, and because this is sharp metal, cut the bead, sometimes it could ruin it, you can't reuse the tire. So we get all that done. The next thing we have to do is decide which side is the tire coming off. Is it coming off this side of the wheel, or is it coming off this side of the wheel? So how we determine that is by something called the drop center. If you notice the wheel, the bead sits in here, it flattens out, and then it kind of gets smaller right here, and it does the same thing on the back. So if you look, it flattens out, and then it kind of gets the smaller diameter. So the purpose of this small diameter here is because, as you can see, the diameter of the tire is the same as this part of the wheel. So we would never be able to get this over here like this without destroying this tire. So in order to do that, we're going to slide that bead into that groove. So when you slide that bead in the groove, it moves that over. When it moves that over, it gives us a little more room on this side. Now, the importance of which side is just this. If we go to put the bead in here, we go this way, this is a much longer angle, which uses up a lot of this. If we use the other side, because it's closer, then it's a much more flat, it's a much flatter angle than the other side, so we get more effective use of the drop center, so then the tire comes off easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to get all this stuff off, and then we're going to put some lube around both of these beads. I will have to break the bead loose from the wheel, and all of the tools that I have to do this literally will cost me less than it would to have the tires moved around just today that I need to move. Bead breaking hammer, 2 tire irons, some dish soap, that if you need it, and this, and of course a compressor to air it back up. So that being said, we need to get this, all the bead broke. Let's get some lube in it, and let's see if we can get these tires off. So there's 2 of them off, and while they're off, I'm going to go ahead and order up new valve stems, those bolt-ins. They're really easy to replace. And I'm going to take my wheels to a friend of mine who sandblasts, and he will sandblast them, prime and paint them for me. I just have to get all of the rest of them off. It's not a very difficult process. It's pretty simple. And like I said, the amount of tools it takes to take these off, what they cost, is less than all the tires. The labor it would be to move all the tires around that I'm messing with today. This is my 2002 International 4300 wrecker, and Project X-Haul. I've been toying with putting aluminum wheels on, and I don't want to buy brand new wheels for that truck because I have some. I don't want the aluminum wheels on this truck. These tires are too short. This truck originally came with 11R 22.5s, and it's with these small low profile tires on here, it's difficult to get under the truck. The bed doesn't work as well as it would if it was higher. So I've just been putting off changing these. You can see they're an 8-lug pattern. I have a full set of 8-lug 22.5 wheels. So we're going to take these off. I just put this tire on this side, so it has really, really good tread. So we're going to probably need one more tire for the other side, because it has a lot of inside edge wear from previous damaged steering parts. So we're going to get these off. I'm going to send these out and have them polished. We're going to take the ones off the back, but we're going to get these off real quick. Okay. So this is like a probably 85% tread tire. So I'll just order up one more of these probably. I just have a matching set on the front, but we'll just get these polished. They'll get all these scratches out. It'll be a nice upgrade. So we're checking the tire pressure on these before we put them in. This one was quite a bit low. So we soaked up both beads and the tread and didn't find anything. So when we flipped it over the other way and got to the valve stem, I guess there's our leak. So we're going to let the air out and we'll break the bead down and replace that real quick. So these are two 45/75 22.5s. These are 245/70 19.5s. So you can see the height difference. It's about probably 4 inches. And this truck was gear bound anyways. The RPMs were too high on the highway. You see how this is the stabilizer unit that's meant to be used when you're loading and unloading. This is how you can tilt the bed. Well, we're not very far from the ground here. You can see here it's, I don't know what that is, probably 8-10 inches or so. So when we get 22.5s on this, it's going to raise it and it's going to increase this, because every now and again we'll drag, but we could use a little more height. And then if I like how the 11R 22.5s work as far as the speed goes, well, they're not 11Rs, they're 22.5s, but if I like how it works and I think it's feasible, I'll replace all the tires with 11R 22.5s. I just need to get the rims swapped over so we can get the 22.5s on. We'll see how it works. So as you can see, it went up a little bit, but not anything horrible. The deck height was right here, so we came up just this distance here, which is about, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches, something like that. But what's going to be nice about it is now this is up high enough. You can see we came up quite a distance here, so we won't have any problems with this dragging anymore. And it's sitting up probably closer where it should be. I think the truck looks better now. So the next step is to clean the tires. Now, this is not necessarily just for cosmetic sakes, it is for inspection, because what we want to do is get everything out of here, get it all cleaned up, and inspect all the sidewalls and the tread around the bead, inside the wheel, inside the tire, and make sure there's no damages anywhere that would make it to where we don't want to use this tire. So it takes a little bit of time, but it's well worth it, because you don't want to have to mount and dismount and all that kind of stuff over and over again. So we've got most of them here. I've got one more tire I have to go pick up yet. So here's the wheels, the aluminum wheels taken off. We're going to take them in. They're going to sandblast these things and polish them. All 4 aluminums. I'm going to have the steel wheels. There's 4 19.5s over there. If you notice that one has a little bit less offset than the other one, the ones with the larger offset were off the International, and they'll let you run a little bit wider tire than this one here. So being though this truck may end up being a dump truck, it's probably better to be using these and have a little bit more room between the 2 tires, which would be good. And I'm going to have all the steel wheels sandblasted and powder coated. I always do. Whenever I take them over, I take as many 22.5s as I have laying around and get them done, so I have good, clean, fresh ones ready to go when I need them. So I need to get these all strapped down and go drop them off. I got to tell you, I'm extremely happy with how much better this truck rides. The power is just fine. I have no troubles with this at all. So I think I'm okay with going with a taller tire. Speedometer is off about 5 miles an hour. At 52, I'm doing, well, about 50, I'm doing 55, and at 52, I'm doing 57. So I'm okay. I'll get that fixed. You can get that reprogrammed. That's pretty easy. But as far as the ride and the power, it's fine. I think I'm going to go ahead and up it to bigger tires. I don't know if I'll go 295, 75, 22.5, or just go straight to 11Rs. I think the 295, the low pro 22.5s would be probably a perfect fit for the bed height and the power. So maybe we'll try that. Well, I put some miles on the truck now, and I got to tell you, I wish I had put these 22.5s on this thing a long time ago. It handles better, it rides better, it's just an improvement all the way around. Very happy with that. Now, the drawback again is the deck height. So the deck height went up about 6 inches maybe, and it's not a big deal for me because I'm not hauling anything that's super tall. But I don't know as if I'd want to go any higher because it is affecting the approach angle. I've loaded a few things on, not a problem, but I can see the difference, that's all. Now, as far as these tires are concerned, I don't want to run these for very long. I'm going to look for something else to put on here. These are 245/75s. If I could find a low pro 22.5, like a 295/75 or something similar to this, I would do it. I don't want to run these. These are old tires. They're cupped up. There's a few bad spots in them. They're okay for what we do because this truck's always local. It goes from here, this property, to one of my other properties and back and forth. So it's not like it's on the highway all day, every day. And I'm never loaded to capacity or even half. It's nowhere near that. So if I did have a tire blowout or something, it's not as unsafe as if you're on the highway doing 70 miles an hour. This truck typically runs 55 and under, and back roads typically. So, but I'm at a point with this truck where I don't know if I want to invest any more money. I've had it for 2 years. I think I've put about 1,800 miles on it. Like I said, I don't go far, but I use it often. However, it's at a point where it needs some work. It needs the 4 rear tires. It needs rear brakes badly. It needs, and when I do it, I will do rotors, pads, calipers, hoses, races, bearings, seals, flush the rear end, run new brake lines, you know, so I don't have to touch it again. And I just don't know if I want to invest that into this truck. I love this bed length. It's very, very handy for what we do. But the cab itself is getting a little on the rough side. I mean, it was rough when I got it, but it's getting worse. The one tank is starting to get damp. The frame's not bad. It's just, it needs cleaned up. And rather than put my effort into this, I have another chassis that I would rather turn into my rollback. And it's geared and it has enough power to do, you know, 74, 72 mile an hour comfortably. And that's not somewhere I would want to push this truck. So I'm leaning towards running this while I build my other one, and then once my other one's done, I may part this out. I don't know. I could sell it whole for $12,000, or I could take the bed off, put it on another truck, take the motor and transmission out, put it in another truck, because it's only got 202 on it, and it runs very well. The transmission was rebuilt, the front end's been redone, so it's got a lot of bonuses, but it's also got a lot of little things wrong with it that I just don't want to fix because it's not cost effective. So I'll have to decide. What do you guys think? Is it worth throwing another? That'll be probably, I'll probably put $1,000 in the brakes. I have another fuel tank. I have another cab. I have another hood. I don't know. What do you think? What would you do? If that truck was yours, what would you do? What's the cost effective? What's the best plan for it? I need to sandblast and repaint the deck of the rollback bed and replace the decking. That's high on my list. There's a few little things that need to be handled on the deck, but it's not big. It's not a lot as far as the rollback bed itself. Not a big deal. But anyways, I just want to bring you along and, you know, address the tires and how I really feel about it after putting some miles on it. I'm pretty happy with it. So let me know what you guys would do. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.